Despite Donald Trump's threats to attack Iran and assassinate its head of state, Tehran launched a more ferocious missile attack, hitting Israeli targets for the fourth night in a row. Even though Israel has enforced a ruthless censorship on filming of damages caused by Iranian missiles, some of the visuals broadcast on US media and social media platforms show the success of these precision attacks. Meanwhile, Israel's interceptor missiles continue to cause embarrassment for the settler colony and the US. There were more instances of Arrow 3 missiles malfunctioning. In one video, an Iranian missile was seen to be hitting an Israeli target, bypassing dozens of Israeli interceptor missiles. You can watch all these videos on our Telegram channel. Details are on the screen. Elsewhere, the death toll in Iran as a result of Israeli bombings has now risen to over 500. Iran's Revolutionary Guards claimed that it fired hypersonic missiles in their latest round of retaliatory attacks, gaining full control of the skies above Israel. Their words, not mine. Its statement read, and I quote, "The 11th wave of the proud Operation True Promise 3 using first generation Fatah missiles marks the beginning of the end for the Zionist army's mythical air defenses. We congratulate the commanders and devoted aerospace forces of the IRGC on this moment." It added, "Tonight, the powerful and maneuverable Fatah missiles pierced the missile shield and repeatedly struck the shelters of the cowardly Zionists, delivering Iran's message of power to Tel Aviv's delusional warmongering ally. Tonight's missile attack proved we have gained full control over the skies of the occupied territories, and its residents are now completely defenseless against Iranian missile strikes." End quote. One such attack was captured live on Fox News. Iran's retaliatory attacks came just hours after Donald Trump issued a chilling threat to not only attack Tehran, but also assassinate its head of state, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The BBC jubilantly began to casually discuss the possibility of Trump fulfilling the desire of the rogue regime of Benjamin Netanyahu. That's the BBC journalism for you.
Yavash is with me now. Extraordinary scenes there from Iran, from Tehran just emptying out. Could the regime be about to fall?
That can be a very distinct possibility. I think at this point it really depends on the regime itself. Judging from what President Trump is saying, judging on the targeting of Israel, targeting many military centers rather than political institutions like the parliament or the government. Perhaps the US and Israel are not so much after regime change, but after, as President Trump said, total capitulation, total surrender, total humiliation of the Islamic regime. What they wish to have is a weakened Islamic regime without its nuclear program, unless it refuses to surrender. Unless the supreme leader refuses to surrender, judging again by what President Trump is saying, that's when the US may choose to strike the supreme leader and eliminate him. After that, obviously, the collapse of the regime will be a given.
Trump's dramatic shift in support of Israel has increasingly left him isolated within his own Republican Party. Aside from the usual suspects funded by the Israeli lobby, many Republican lawmakers and prominent media personalities have condemned the US president for threatening to drag their country to fight Israel's illegal war in the Middle East. Listen to former Trump chief strategist Steve Bannon, who says that the president's enemies are working to destroy MAGA with the war on Iran.
The one that then out of nowhere comes a war with Persia. It's like a shooting war with Persia, a massive shooting war with Persia. It's like, how did this happen? And that's why I've been up as a defender of Israel and someone that's very pro-Israel. I've been saying, hey, this is going to be the end of Israel.
Prominent supporter, Dave Smith, has publicly apologized for supporting Donald Trump in the last elections as he demanded his impeachment.
Donald Trump telling him to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, what a impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese.
Right.
Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one.
Tucker Carlson, who Trump was making fun of recently, was seen exposing Ted Cruz, another pro-Israeli Republican lawmaker. Tucker released 2 clips from his upcoming interview with Cruz to highlight just how clueless Trump and his supporters are about the potential pitfalls of Netanyahu's reckless action.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's,
because,
it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and
what
predominantly Shia. Okay, this is cute.
It's not
okay.
even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay,
actually,
I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
Israel.
Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
Podcast host Anna Kasparian was once again brilliant when she exposed the lies spread by Israel and Trump on the Iranian nuclear program.
I think so.
Yeah, look,
I think so.
I
really think so.
I got to jump in on this because, look, I think this is a problem regardless of what administration is in charge. We should not engage in this war. Look, there's a lot of saber rattling. There's a lot of fear mongering about Iran building nuclear weapons, even though the intel is obviously contradicting. You have Israel saying weeks ago, they shared their intel with the United States and the administration rejected it. Our intelligence community rejected it. They said Iran is not weeks away from building a nuclear weapon. But you want to know something? There are 2 countries in this whole scenario that do have nuclear weapons. One, of course, is the United States of America. The other, they don't acknowledge it, is Israel. So they act like, oh, we're just little lambs, and it's such a big threat. Okay. The whole thing about nuclear weapons, the reason why the United States can't allow Ukraine to do whatever it wants against Russia is because they're a nuclear power. It is a deterrent.
Well, Ukraine had nukes, remember.
Israel doesn't want Iran to have a deterrent. Now, in a perfect world, neither of those countries would have nuclear weapons, but one of them does, and the one that does loves to cry about how it's always under threat while it's bombing Iranian embassies in places like Syria, while it's literally allowing its IDF soldiers to shoot at international diplomats as they're visiting Jenin. Like, are we ever going to at least address the belligerence of the current Israeli government?
Also shooting at people in Gaza when they're trying to get aid.
Exactly.
On the diplomatic front, Iranian ambassador to the UK appeared before the Foreign Affairs Select Committee here in the UK, where this happened.
How many Iranian Shahed drones have been fired by Putin at Ukraine over the last 3 years?
You mean that how many drones?
How many Shahed drones, Iranian Shahed drones, have been fired by Putin at Ukraine over the last 3 years?
You see,
I'm just looking for a number.
I will reply to you. Yes, there is no doubt. You know, the Russian and Iranian defense cooperations originate more than 20 years ago.
You know the number?
No, I don't know
I'll
the
tell you the
number.
number. The number is 8,000. Okay? I put it to you that if we do live in a world now where violence and might are taking precedent over law and right, I would suggest that the Iranian regime has a deep responsibility for that. Let me ask you another question, and again, this is a question with a simple number as an answer. The Director General of MI5 identified a number of plots backed by Iran in this country, including lethal threats against Iranian dissidents and against Jewish communities here. How many plots had he identified in the last 3 years?
He claimed 22, but
yep.
Let me answer to you. Let me answer to you. First of all, this is very important. Please correct your wording that the Iranian government is a lawful and very important and significant and respectful government.
What's the
and
legal,
there is no
what's
need
the legal
to
basis
using the
for
regime
Putin's
for
war?
them. Excuse me.
What's the legal basis for Putin's war then, if you are such a supporter of international law?
Let me. I'm telling to you correct your wording regarding for my government. My government is a legal government, and there is no doubt about it.
I will upload the full video of this hearing on this channel later today. As I said earlier, what has brought a sudden change in Trump's stand on Iran is the realization that Israel is increasingly becoming a laughingstock in the region after Netanyahu's decision to illegally attack Iran backfired so spectacularly. No one would have expected the kind of devastation Iran would be able to cause right across Israel by simply firing missiles from a distance. The question is Trump willing to risk his political career and legacy just to appease Netanyahu? Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you too think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.